Back here in California, Governor Gray Davis set to launch a new campaign today, this time aimed at derailing an effort to recall him from office. This is the first indication that the Davis camp views the recall movement as a serious threat. Governor supporters say the new campaign will spend between $1 and $3 million to block the Republican-backed recall drive. Petitions are already circulating to gather signatures opposing a Davis recall.
The recall campaign against Governor Gray Davis is gathering steam with the launch of a new radio campaign today. But is the recall effort really a threat to the governor? Channel 4's Conan Nolan has the story.
They've been collecting signatures outside supermarkets and shopping malls. This morning, they're running advertisements on the radio.
Governor Gray Davis is hurting our state and our people.
The campaign to put Governor Gray Davis up for a recall election has received so many signatures, political consultants now consider it no longer an if, but a when. Much to the dismay of the man who won re-election just 7 months ago.
The recall movement is sponsored by a bunch of losers. I won that election fair and square. They're trying to overthrow the will of the electorate.
But polls indicate that electorate is now angry, with 70% saying the state is headed in the wrong direction.
I think he's doing a lousy job, and I voted for him, and I wish I hadn't.
A lot of things have happened.
When he had a surplus of $12 billion 4 years ago. So something's wrong.
The recall campaign was at first dismissed by the governor until Republican Congressman Darrell Issa, a self-made millionaire, started pumping money into the effort.
How much of your own money have you already given?
Lots.
Over $600,000?
Lots.
So what happens if the recall does end up before voters? It will be a ballot Californians have never seen before. Alan Hoffenblum is the publisher of the California Target Book, the Bible of state politics.
The first question you're asked, do you believe it should be recalled? Then the second question is, should it be recalled, who would you like to see replace him? And it's an open primary, one ballot. Democrat, Republican, Green, Peace and Freedom, whomever files to run for that goes out and pays a $3,000 fee, collects about 60 or 70 signatures. He's on that ballot, and whoever gets the most vote, if a majority say yes on recall, immediately becomes the governor of California.
As California's Secretary of State, it is my duty today to certify the first recall election of a governor in California history. As of today, my office has received over 1.6 million total signatures. Of these, more than 1.3 million have been found to be valid. We have now received more than 110% of the required signatures. Therefore, the recall is deemed to immediately qualify. That is why today I have exercised my duty as Secretary of State and certified the recall election. Moments ago, I sent the Lieutenant Governor formal notification of our action. He must now set the date of the recall election sometime this fall, no sooner than 60 days, nor later than 80 days from today. Let me take this opportunity to personally thank all the elections officers and staffs from every one of California's 58 counties. They have done an extraordinary job under very, very difficult circumstances. They performed brilliantly, despite the intense pressures.
Okay, there you just saw it. That's history in California, the first ever certified recall election. Of course, now, as you said, it's up Cruz Bustamante.
Last evening, July 23rd at 6:45 p.m., the Secretary of State forwarded the certificate of petition sufficiency for the recall of the governor. The California Constitution is clear. Its requirement is that I select a date for the recall, special election, and in lieu of the governor, prepare the proclamation to order the special statewide election. I have consulted with the offices of the Secretary of State, the Attorney General, and the Legislative Council in selecting the date and the language in this historic proclamation. Although I had discretion to select a date, it was narrow in scope. The recall election must be held within 60 to 80 days of the certification of the signatures. The election was also required to be on a Tuesday, and the election could not follow a Monday holiday. The date that I've decided to choose for this election is Tuesday, October the 7th, 77 days from the date of certification. I believe that this date will provide the maximum time available to county clerks so that they might be able to do the best job possible under these circumstances. In selecting the date of the recall, I also gave consideration to allowing candidates adequate time to prepare their paperwork. A proclamation stating the date of the recall has been distributed to all the members of the press, and this proclamation is currently being delivered to the Secretary of State, and notification is going to the Governor. And now for a few words in Spanish. Hoy es un día histórico. Suficientes votantes firmaron una petición para la destitución del gobernador Gray Davis. Bajo la Constitución.
Once again, Lieutenant Governor Cruz Bustamante making the announcement today. As we had gotten early word, he did indeed pick October 7th as the day now for the recall election.